Hi Yale staff, my name is Erica Sambalingi. I first want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself to you all and be considered for the 4th grade position at your school. A little bit about myself is I'm a wife, I'm a mother of 2, I have a little boy and a little girl, and we have 2 dogs, and besides spending time with my family, I really enjoy being outdoors and working out. As far as my educational background, I went to the University of Northern Colorado for elementary education. After graduation, or before graduation, I student taught at Benjamin Eaton Elementary, and then after graduation, I was hired on at Benjamin Eaton Elementary to teach 3rd grade. I taught there for 2 years. The second year, I was commuting back and forth from Denver to Eaton and decided that I needed to teach a little bit closer to home when I started teaching 4th grade at Vassar Elementary. I taught there for 2 years, and after my second year, there was a death in my family and decided I needed to take some time off and cope with that, but I knew that I wasn't done with the classroom and out of the classroom for good. I started substituting, and I substitute taught 2nd grade at Dalton Elementary from March to May of 2018 for a teacher on maternity leave. And then the following school year, she was promoted to Dean of Students, and so she texted me and asked me if I wanted to teach her classroom again, and jumped right on that opportunity and taught 2nd grade. That was a 1-year position only, so that's kind of where I am right now. I knew right away that I wanted to be a teacher when I went to Mexico on mission trips at an orphanage. I was making connections with kiddos that didn't even speak speak English, and I knew little Spanish from middle school, and so they were teaching me Spanish, we were teaching them English, and we played sports together, and just making those connections while we were there for a week it told me that this is what I wanted to do later, and I remembered that forever, and I'll always remember that. And so that's kind of where I am right now. But as far as the second question, it was a little tricky for me. I didn't want to sound silly when I chose this person, but this was the person I thought of right away. As far as which character or actor or famous person I felt I shared the most personality traits with, and that was Ronda Rousey, the former UFC fighter. Personality traits that I feel I share with her are being motivated, dedicated, being strong both physically and mentally, and being humble, just knowing that there is more to learn, knowing that life throws you all kinds of curves, and you're just being able to get through all those challenges. I'm motivated and dedicated to be the best mother, best wife, best teacher, and just be the best version of myself, and being able to be happy. I can make others and others happy, and make them know that there are so many possibilities, and we can overcome so many outcomes. So yeah, that's that question. And then as far as the third question, what I think are my instructional strengths, I would say building relationships and rapport with my students. If I don't have that relationship and that connection with my students, then they're not going to want to learn from me, and my classroom won't run smoothly. And so just having that classroom management and classroom expectations with my students, then we're on the same page as each other, and they're able to feel safe in my classroom and be able to take risks, knowing that if we all make mistakes, it's okay. We can fix that and continue to learn from one another. The next question was what areas of growth I would, a supervisor would say that I needed to, whatever the question was, I only wrote down growth areas. So the areas that I think I could grow in, or my supervisor would say I could grow in, is being able to challenge those students that is usually the minority of the classroom. So the majority of the classrooms that I have taught in have been below grade level, and so being able to challenge those students that are at or above grade level and showing the equality in the classroom, just that even though they understand what's being taught, that they can still be pushed and still be challenged. And so not just sit there and be like, oh, I've already learned this or I already know this, but just being able to use whatever standard that we're working on and take it a next step further, and challenging themselves, not necessarily making it harder or more work, but thinking outside of the box with those specific standards and those specific students. The next question was how I would change or close the achievement gap at Yale Elementary, and it first starts with data. Just looking at students' data, where they are currently, what they already know, and where they need to go, will help me to be able to know what to teach them and what to reteach if I need to. And just knowing how to use different strategies. I know we analyze data a lot, whether it's iReady or weekly assessments, and just knowing how I can get my students to that standard or to that outcome, that understanding. And then also collaborating with staff members, teachers that might have had a kiddo before, what worked for that kid, or just using different ideas from other staff members, because we all have so many different ideas and we're all learning, and an idea someone else has I might not have thought of, and it could work for my students. And also communicating with parents, just having that open line of communication, how we can all work together to help my students and their children to be successful. And then lastly, the last question was, why do I think the families of Yale and the community would want me to teach their students? And being a member of this community, living right down the street, I feel I can connect to my students and their families, and I am very personable. I love to communicate with them through weekly, weekly newsletters, and just letting them know what's happening in the classroom, and how we're doing, what we're doing next week, and being involved in if there's the school carnival or whatever, showing my face all the time, and just letting parents know that I am there, not just for their students' education, but also for their mental health as well. And yeah, I think, sorry, I'm getting caught up on the time. So I think that's why I would be a great candidate for your school. So thank you so much again for giving me this opportunity, and I look forward to hearing from you all. Thank you. Bye.